2 people are dead and 4 others are wounded after a shooting at a Louisville park. The Saturday night shooting comes just days after a 25-year-old bank employee opened fire, killing 5 people and wounding 9 others. That incident marked America's 146th mass shooting in 2023 so far, and that's according to the Gun Violence Archive. My next guest, who lost a good friend that day in Louisville, advocated for a ban on assault weapons on the House floor just last month, following the school shooting in Nashville that killed 3 children. But as he pointed out, quote, extremists right now want to put guns over kids. Joining me now is Kentucky Congressman Morgan McGarvey. Congressman McGarvey, good morning. Thanks for joining the show. First, I know you were friends with one of the victims of that Louisville bank shooting, Tommy Elliott. I'm really sorry for your loss. How are you, his family, and frankly, the community doing since that tragedy?
It's really hard, Katie. And as you said, now we're waking up on a Sunday morning and probably needing to have another type of vigil. This community is grieving that attack on Monday at the bank. Like so many mass shootings we see play out in this country, it's completely unexpected. And here we were the Monday after Easter in an extremely close-knit community. Louisville is one of those places where everybody's 1 degree of separation away from everybody else. And, that was an attack that could have happened to any of us, which makes it an attack on all of us. And I think we're going to be there to lift each other up. After this leaves the national headlines and Louisville is dealing with it, we'll be there. But, I think of what the doctor said, Jason Smith at the University of Louisville, whose team undoubtedly saved lives. But he said, I am weary. I am weary. I am tired of going out into the waiting rooms and telling loved ones that their family member is not coming home and hearing cries of mommy and daddy. He said, we're doing nothing. And that's not working. And I think that's, this community, as we are dealing with this grief and this heartbreak and this tragedy, you are seeing people start to say, we've got to do more. We've got to do something because doing nothing isn't working.
Congressman, let's talk about doing more. The state that you're representing has a Democrat as a governor, Andy Beshear, but we hear a lot about the GOP supermajority legislature in your state and how futile any efforts by Governor Beshear would be to pass common sense gun legislation. What are the realistic, and I want to emphasize the adjective, realistic options for those in states like Kentucky and frankly me like in Florida who are desperate for gun reform but have Republicans standing in their way?
Yeah, I served in the state Senate for 10 years before getting elected to Congress in November. The last 4 years, I was minority leader of the state Senate, so very familiar with what's going on there. It is when they say Republican supermajority, it has gone incredibly Republican in Kentucky in the state General Assembly, and that has really, honestly, it's hurt efforts at common sense gun reform. We've passed things like a permitless concealed carry. We've had efforts that allow guns in bars, and just. This year, they made Kentucky a sanctuary state for weapons. But I still have to have hope. And look at what Mayor Greenberg said here this week. The Kentucky laws right now require the AR-15 that was used in Monday's mass tragedy to be put up at auction and sold, which means it could be back on the streets. I think that's disgusting. Imagine if your loved one was killed with a weapon and then knowing that it's going back on the streets. So I think that actually is a law where we can get legislators' attention and say, we've got to stop this. I worked with a survivor of another mass shooter who lives in Louisville. She was shot going into work in Cincinnati to a meeting and part of a mass shooting. But Whitney Austin has helped introduce a crisis aversion rights retention law that she and I introduced. We had Republican support. Couldn't get a vote on, got a hearing on it, but couldn't get a vote on it. And I think you're going to see, also some momentum behind that, because that does marry mental health and guns, allowing law enforcement to temporarily remove a firearm from someone who is an imminent danger to themselves or others, which looks sort of holistically at gun violence, both in terms of what you saw Monday in a mass shooting, but also in suicide, which continues to be the leading cause of gun death in this country. So I still remain optimistic, but it is going to take a ton of work.
Quickly, Congressman, before I have to let you go, I really wanted to touch on that Nashville Covenant school shooting. It was the 13th school shooting just this year. You are a father of young children. I am the mother of a young child. You spoke on the House of Congress floor, and you spoke eloquently, but I have to ask, if state legislatures aren't going to protect our children, what kind of legislation and action is Congress doing to protect our children?
Yeah, you see the Democrats stepping up. I mean, I think this is one where we get it. We have to come to the table. Doing nothing is not an answer, and we have to put guns over kids. In fact, I was with my kids, Katie, on Monday when the mass shooting news broke. We were in Washington. The kids were in Washington, and I had to leave. And so they got sort of more of a front row seat to what was happening than normally we say. And when I looked at my wife and said, hey, there's been a mass shooting, I have to go now and get back to the district. My daughter, my oldest daughter, got just completely ashen or lost color in her face. And she looked at me and she goes, oh no, which school? And it was just absolutely heartbreaking that was her reaction, that when there's a mass shooting, she's asking which school was terror.